Nikola Jokic doesn't talk mean about people. He doesn't get into fights on Twitter. He barely even gets excited when he wins, but somehow he keeps making people look silly. Look at that move. Oh, my goodness. Now, Jokic is going to step back and he shoots. He gets it off just in time. It's up. Oh, it's good. Of course, it goes in. Season after season, people find new reasons to not believe in him. He should have been the MVP. That's not being mean to you, but congratulations. And what do you guys have to do to get back on track against Minnesota? Thank you. We don't judge people here, so that's fine. There are only 3 guys who won the MVP award who weren't in the top 10 for scoring. Steve Nash, Jokic, and Dirk Nowitzki. When you look at the list of league MVPs in history, he would be the worst one we've had. And year after year, he's made those same people eat their words. This is the story of the people who talked, the people who didn't believe, and the people who learned the hard way that the Joker always gets the last laugh. These are the many victims of Nikola Jokic. But first, a word from today's sponsor. Right before the draft. The 2014 draft class was being called one of the most talented ever. Andrew Wiggins was being called Maple Jordan. Joel Embiid was being compared to Hakeem Olajuwon. And Nikola Jokic wasn't even being talked about. In fact, most scouts had never even heard of the young Serbian player back in 2014. You see, Jokic wasn't a McDonald's All-American. He wasn't a college superstar. He was just some chubby kid playing in second-tier Judo Digu. But luckily, in 2014, he finally got his chance at a Nike Hoop Summit. This was going to be Jokic's very first chance to prove himself against NBA-level prospects. A chance to show the world just how truly special he really was. But unfortunately, it went as bad as possible. Karl Anthony Towns totally beat Nikola Jokic that night, throwing down dunk after dunk. And sure enough, the scouts took notice. I told you across the table, I'm all about Karl Anthony Towns. He's going to be a very good NBA player soon. Cat became the rising star in that draft class. And Nikola Jokic, on the other hand, became forgotten. In fact, Jokic became so forgotten that he wasn't picked until halfway through the second round during a Taco Bell commercial. 40 NBA players were picked before Nikola Jokic, including one player who would go on to become Nikola Jokic's very first victim. With the draft, the Chicago Bulls select Jusuf Nurkic from Tuzla, Bosnia and Herzegovina. That guy is Jusuf. Going into the NBA, Jusuf Nurkic had a big advantage over the Joker. The big, strong Bosnian had been picked by the Nuggets, 25 picks higher than Jokic, and at the cost of another first-round pick. The Denver Nuggets select Doug McDermott from Creighton University. Because of this, the Nuggets were going to do everything possible to help Nurkic reach his full potential. Nikola Jokic, on the other hand, was going to have to fight because of their commitment to the Nuggets decided to have Jokic play overseas in the Adriatic League, giving Nikola Jokic plenty of time to work on his skills. And by all accounts, that extra year abroad did the big man wonders during this one season playing overseas. Jokic managed to average 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, enough to make him the league MVP at just 22 years old. And more than enough to show the Nuggets he had NBA potential A year and a half after being picked by the Nuggets, Nikola Jokic finally made his NBA debut as the starting power forward. This was because the team was still committed to playing Jusuf Nurkic at the 5 position, but just 7 games in, the Nuggets realized their plan wasn't going to work. Gallinari's final shot is blocked, and that is going to do it. A very disappointing loss for the Denver Nuggets. The problem was this big men lineup the Nuggets were using was causing them to play at the slowest pace in the league. Because of this, Jokic went to the head coach Mike Malone and offered to come off the bench to help his Bosnian teammate. It was a nice sacrifice that showed this big man's unselfish playing style, but one that would ultimately backfire for poor Juice. Newer KIC.UC 18 games into this season, the Nuggets were just 7-11. Coach Malone noticed a pattern emerging. Even as the team was losing games, they were still winning the minutes played by Nikola Jokic, so much so that he flipped his centers, giving Jokic the starting spot just 25 games into the season, and the rest is, as they say, history, folks. A year later, Nurkic was traded at the deadline to the Portland Trail Blazers, just 2 years after the Nuggets had drafted him to be their starting center. That's a crazy turnaround. Since then, the two big men have faced off against each other in 21 games. Nikola Jokic has averaged 22.7 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 7.7 assists versus his former teammate out-rebounding, and winning the vast majority of those games against the guy he was supposed to play backup center for. And just like that, Nikola Jokic had quietly taken out his very first victim, his own teammate. But now it was time for Jokic to take over the entire league. During his second year, the Nuggets finally started running their offense through Jokic, and soon the team began to shine. By his third year, the Nuggets had improved enough to finish their season 10 games over .500, with Jokic averaging over 18 points and 6 assists to go along with 8 rebounds. Now, the Nuggets were starting to look like a threat in the NBA, and that was all thanks to Jokic's offensive skills. You see, Jokic seemed slow, but really he was smart and unafraid to dribble, making him a real threat at driving to the basket. Right there! Oh, inside! Yes! Additionally, he had a surprising amount of strength, helping him dominate when operating from the post. He is showing the entire package, but what made Jokic most effective was his amazing touch and passing IQ, somehow managing to pass the ball like he was a prime John Stockton, giving the Nuggets the best offensive rating in the entire NBA. Jokic has it. Clock ticks. Got to put one up. Jokic for the win. Oh, it's gone. Jokic got it off in time, and the Nuggets win it. And now, Jokic was starting to be mentioned in the league's MVP discussion. Let me just say this. Oh my God, the Denver Nuggets. I told you I'm all in on the Denver Nuggets. Do I need the pad? No! I told you I'm all in on the Denver. I told you that a month ago, not only that, the Joker should be the front for MVP, which finally brings us to his next victim, the man he'd been compared to for the entire next part of his NBA career, Joel Embiid. While Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets were climbing the standings in the West, the Sixers were taking over the East, largely thanks to the play of Joel Embiid. After an impressive time at Kansas, Joel Embiid's career had been hurt by a string of lower body injuries, resulting in him missing the entirety of his first 2 seasons. But now, Joel had strung together enough health to make him a 3-time All-Star, along with being a yearly Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Joel had his sights on the MVP. And with the two big men at the top of the leaderboard, the media loved an opportunity to pit the big men against each other, every analyst picking sides and coming up with their own opinion, some of which were a bit more crazy than others. And so here we are again, another year, another set of stories against Nikola Jokic, talented big man Embiid or the Joker. I'm going to go with Embiid, but I gotta tell you something. I watched Jokic last night. Good God, this brother can't jump onto a curb. Okay, he can't jump onto a curb. I give it to Joel Embiid right now because he's playing the game like he's supposed to be playing. If you're asking me who is the better talent, I'm going with Embiid 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. How long was it going to take before the media took him seriously? It was time for Nikola to take his game to a whole other level, resulting in some of the best basketball the world has ever seen. Jumping under Capella, blocked by Jokic on the dribble drive to shoot, put it, UP. Murray gets it over to Gordon. Jokic rumbles to the rim. Between the years of 2020 and 2023, Nikola Jokic upped his scoring to an average of 29 points per game. Additionally, improving his rebounding and assist numbers to the point that he was averaging nearly a triple. He set NBA records in player efficiency and box plus dash minus. But what really changed people's opinion about Jokic was his improved effort on the defensive end of the court. Specifically, after losing 20 pounds during the 2020 offseason, I was a little bit overweight, and then now I lost a lot of weight, and I'm feeling good out there. How much did you drop? Around 25 pounds. This put him in the best shape of his entire life. Joker's got it. Joker, Elliot, Shannon around the corner. Yikes. And just when it seemed like Nikola Jokic had risen to the top, winning back-to-back MVPs and proving that he was unlike any center in league history, Joel Embiid shut it all down. In 2023, Joel Embiid averaged 33.1 points, 10.2 rebounds, and 4.2 assists per game. Winning the MVP over Nikola Jokic, he seemingly took the title of the best big man in the world in one fell swoop. The media crowned him the most dominant big man in modern NBA history. I mean, Max, my big takeaway from this matchup is that Joel Embiid is the most dominant player in the NBA right now, and he's a deserving leader in the recent straw poll. The debate was over. But while the spotlight shifted to Philly, Jokic kept his eyes on the real prize. He wasn't chasing headlines, he was chasing a championship. And in the 2023 playoffs, Nikola Jokic played some of the best basketball of his